So, okay. The first question I would like to ask you was, what is your discipline procedure in the classroom?
Well, my discipline procedure ties in with what our school disciplinary policy is. There are certain rules that we have school-wide that have designated criteria that they get written up and get sent to the principal. Within my classroom, I work on a premise of every student has a right to learn, and if students infringe on that right, then they receive a certain discipline. Because I am an English teacher, one of the most effective tools that I have learned to use over the years is writing.
Okay. Next question is, what are some of the positive and negative reinforcements used in your classroom?
Some of the positive reinforcements are if we get work done, if the kids are on task and we move through the things that we need to, then we have time for additional things like going outside and having a kickball game or a softball game if the weather's good, or if the weather's bad, we sometimes go down to the gym and we play a little bit of inside kickball. Other things that we do, sometimes we have art a second day a week, and kids have been lately working on perspective drawings of the classroom, so they've really been engrossed in that. So giving them the extra time to do those things is a real positive reinforcement.
Now, what about negative reinforcement?
Well, basically, if they're wasting a lot of time, if they're not getting stuff done, then they're going to have more homework. And so, yeah, it's not really a punishment, but if we don't have time to do things in the classroom and go over things, then it's going to have to be covered at another time. So it kind of puts them in a bind.
Okay, now throughout your teaching career, have you tried many discipline techniques?
Yes. Yes, a lot. Putting names on the board, giving check marks, and if they have so many, then they have a detention. Detentions don't really work too well because it's almost as if we are punishing the parent for the student. And I believe that the students need to be held accountable for the things that they do and not the parents. So, yeah.
So which discipline technique has been the most effective for you?
The use of dictionaries. And when the kids are out of line, if they're not doing or following the directions they're supposed to be, then they get to have a dictionary page, which they really hate, and then their parent has to sign, so their parents know that there's been a problem. So it's a very effective tool. They get one dictionary, and they're not going to be real eager to get another one.
Okay, moving on to the next question. Do you have an alternative discipline procedure for some of your students, or do they all have the same?
I do. And some of the kids, especially with certain learning disabilities, that would be a really difficult task for them. So I might have them write what they were doing and then what should they have done to make it a better situation. How can they, one of the things that I try to do with the 8th graders is they are the role models for the rest of the school because they're the oldest class here. So we kind of talk a lot about that at the beginning of the year and what their role is as the heads of the school, and how to use that in a positive way. And so if they're doing something that's inappropriate, maybe it's putting people at risk if they're on patrol and they're not doing their job or that kind of thing. So I have them write up what would be a more effective way to use their time or to be exhibiting themselves to the rest of the school.
Okay, next question would be, do you give your students any input in your decision making when concerning the rules?
Yeah. At the beginning of the year, as I said, my one main rule is that every student has a right to learn. So then we talk about what is an infringement on that, okay? So how do we, like talking, being out of their seats, interrupting, that every student has a right to be heard at any given time, okay? And that when people come in the classroom, they need to be polite and courteous. So we talk about those kinds of issues.
Okay. Next question. Now, when the parents come in, do you ever explain to the parents your discipline procedure, or?
Definitely. At open house, I go over that. Having been here for 24 years, a lot of the parents know me because I've taught several of their kids, and so they know what my policy is and how I go about administering justice.
Okay. Now, over the course of your teaching career, I know you had mentioned detentions being not being effective. Now, would you ever recommend what would you recommend future teachers of a discipline technique not to use?
Well, one thing, especially I think for junior high and high school age students, is never threaten them. Threats do nothing because they're going to check and see if you're going to follow through on it. I believe that a discipline should be immediate. It should take care of the problem, and then you go on. You don't sit and hold something over the kid's head. So when they have a dictionary page, for example, I assign it, we move on. They bring it in the next day, it's over, it's done. They did their punishment, and then that's it. I think a hazard that a lot of teachers, young teachers, maybe fall into is they try to adopt all kinds of different disciplinary procedures that aren't comfortable for them. And new teachers have to find something that works, that fits for them. And a lot of it is trial and error, and you can take a little bit from one and a little from another, and then incorporate that into what's going to be the best fit for you as your personality type as a teacher.
Okay. Last question is just background information. Can you let us know like how long you've been a teacher and where you graduated from?
Okay, this is my actual 28th year of teaching. I've been at St. Thomas More for 24 years. My background, I graduated from Avila College in Kansas City, Missouri with my graduate studies at the university, Purdue University in Indiana. And then I take classes at Northern and stuff to keep current with trends and everything. Having graduated from college initially in '74, you want to stay current with everything. My majors, my undergrad majors were art and English, and then my education classes was kind of a secondary thing. So, yeah. And I'm certified K through 12 in art and elementary ed and English.
Okay. Well, this wraps up our session with the discipline interview. Thank you very much for letting me interview.
You're welcome.
All right. Thanks. I can't. That one is racist.